Your car payment is not a monthly expense. It is a subscription to never owning anything. That $500 payment you signed for is not about transportation. It is about keeping you locked into a cycle where the asset loses value faster than you gain equity. The dealership did not sell you a car. They sold you a financial product designed to extract maximum profit while giving you the illusion of ownership. This is not an accident. This is the business model. And right now, 70% of new car buyers in America are trapped in loans longer than 6 years, which means they will be underwater on their vehicle for most of the term. By the time you understand what happened, you will already be 3 years into a loan on a depreciating asset, owing more than the car is worth. And the dealer will be waiting to roll that negative equity into your next purchase. Here is what they do not tell you at signing. The average new car loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. Another 15% disappears in the first year. But your loan balance does not drop at the same rate. For the first 3 years, most of your payment goes to interest, not principal. This creates a gap. The gap has a name. It is called negative equity. And negative equity is not a side effect of car loans. It is the foundation. Because once you are underwater, you cannot sell the car without writing a check to cover the difference. You cannot trade it in without rolling that debt into the next loan. You are stuck. And stuck customers are profitable customers. The trap is not the interest rate. The trap is the term length. Dealers have spent the last 2 decades normalizing 84-month car loans, 7 years. That is longer than most people keep a car, but it lowers the monthly payment just enough to make the unaffordable seem affordable. And once you focus on the monthly number instead of the total cost, you stop asking the right questions. Let me show you the ancestors of this trap. In the 1920s, installment credit exploded across America. Furniture stores, appliance dealers, and piano sellers all discovered the same thing. If you let people pay over time, they will buy more than they can afford. The psychology was simple. Breaking a large number into smaller pieces makes it feel manageable. A $200 radio feels expensive. $5 a month feels like nothing. By 1929, 60% of cars, radios, and furniture were sold on installment plans. The key was stretching the term long enough that the monthly payment felt trivial, even as the total interest paid ballooned. The seller got their money upfront from a finance company. The buyer got trapped in a payment cycle, and the system normalized the idea that you should always have a payment. That model never went away. It just got longer terms and better marketing. The second ancestor is the company store. In coal mining towns and factory communities throughout the early 20th century, workers were paid in scrip company-issued currency that could only be spent at the company store. The prices were inflated, the credit was easy, and workers fell into debt that kept them tethered to the job. They could not leave because they owed money. They could not pay off the debt because the wages barely covered living expenses. The trap was not the work. The trap was the credit system built around the work. Car loans function the same way. You need the car to get to work. You need the work to pay for the car. And the loan structure ensures you can never get ahead of the depreciation curve. You are paid just enough to make the payment, but not enough to escape the cycle. The third ancestor is the credit card revolution of the 1980s. Banks discovered that if you give people access to revolving credit and only require a minimum payment, they will carry a balance indefinitely. The minimum payment was engineered to cover interest and almost nothing else. Customers felt like they were managing their debt because they were making payments, but the principal barely moved. The average credit card balance in America has hovered around $6,000 for decades, not because people cannot pay more, but because the system is designed to keep them in the payoff zone where they feel progress without ever reaching zero. Car loans adopted this playbook: stretch the term, lower the payment, keep them in the cycle. This brings us to stage 1, the payment trap. You walk into a dealership focused on one number. What can I afford per month? The salesperson does not ask what you want to spend total. They ask what monthly payment fits your budget. This is intentional, because once you anchor on a monthly number, they can manipulate every other variable. They stretch the loan term to lower the payment. They add gap insurance, extended warranties, and paint protection into the financing. They increase the total cost while keeping the monthly number inside your comfort zone. You think you are negotiating. You are not. You are being steered into the longest term loan you will accept, and the longer the term, the more interest you pay, and the longer you stay underwater. Then comes stage 2, the depreciation gap. You drive off the lot. The car is now worth 20% less than you paid, but your loan balance has barely moved. You owe $30,000. The car is worth $24,000. You are $6,000 underwater on day 1. For the next 2 years, the car continues to lose value faster than your payments reduce the principal. By year 3, you are still underwater, and this is when life happens. You get a new job, you need a bigger car, you want a different model. But you cannot sell without taking a loss. You cannot trade without rolling negative equity into the next loan. So you either stay stuck in a car you no longer want, or you dig the hole deeper. Stage 3 is where the system turns, the trade-in rollover. Most people do not wait until the loan is paid off to buy their next car. They trade in early while they are still underwater. The dealer appraises the trade at wholesale value, which is lower than private sale value. They pay off your old loan, but the negative equity gets added to the new loan. So now you're financing a new car plus the losses from the old car. Your new loan starts underwater before you even drive off the lot. And the cycle repeats. This is why the average car payment in America has risen every single year for the past decade. It is not just because cars cost more. It is because buyers are carrying forward debt from previous purchases. Each trade-in stacks another layer of negative equity onto the next loan. The debt compounds, the terms get longer, and the customer never builds equity. Stage 4 is the payment mindset. After 3 or 4 years of always having a car payment, it stops feeling like debt. It feels like a fixed expense, like rent or utilities. You stop asking if you need a car payment. You start asking which car payment you want. Dealers reinforce this by framing everything in terms of monthly cost. They say things like, for just $50 more per month, you can upgrade to the premium trim. They never say, for $3,000 more over 6 years. Because the monthly framing hides the total cost, and once you accept that you will always have a car payment, you stop trying to pay off the car. You start planning your next purchase. This is the psychological shift that makes the trap permanent. You are no longer buying cars, you are subscribing to car payments. Stage 5 is the equity extraction cycle. After years of payments, you finally reach a point where you have some equity in the car. You owe less than it is worth. This is the moment the system wants you to trade in, because now the dealer can use your equity as a down payment on a new car and start the cycle over. They will say, your car has $10,000 of equity, we can put that toward a new model, and your payment will barely change. What they do not say is that you are converting an asset you almost own into a new liability that will take another 7 years to pay off. You are trading equity for payment stability, and in doing so, you reset the clock. You go from almost owning a car to owing maximum debt on a new car. The system does not want you to own, it wants you to trade. Stage 6 is the maintenance crossover. Cars are designed to need significant repairs right around the time the loan is paid off. Transmissions fail. Timing belts break. Electronics malfunction. The repair bill arrives and it is $3,000. At the same moment, the dealer sends you a letter offering to trade in your paid-off car. They say, why spend money fixing an old car when you could be driving something new with a warranty? This is not coincidence. The repair cost is engineered into the product life cycle, and the dealer knows exactly when it will hit. They time their outreach to catch you at the moment of maximum frustration. You pay the repair bill, or you trade in and restart the payment cycle. Most people trade, because after years of having a payment, the idea of being payment-free feels temporary and fragile. The payment feels safer than ownership. So where are you in this cycle right now? If you financed a car in the last 3 years, you're almost certainly underwater. If your loan term is longer than 5 years, you will be underwater for most of the loan. If you have traded in a car while still owing money on it, you are carrying stacked negative equity into your current loan. If you think about cars in terms of monthly payments instead of total cost, you have adopted the payment mindset. If you have ever said, "I will always have a car payment," you are inside stage 4. And if you are planning to trade in your current car before it is paid off, you are about to repeat the cycle. This is not about bad financial decisions. This is about a system designed to make the logical-sounding choice the most profitable choice for the lender. The math is not in your favor. It never was. Let me show you the mechanism behind the business model. The dealership makes money on the sale, but the real profit comes from the financing. When you finance through the dealer, they sell your loan to a bank or finance company and keep a commission. The longer the term, the higher the commission. This is why they push 84-month loans. It is not about helping you afford the car. It is about maximizing their cut. The bank or finance company makes money on the interest. The longer you pay, the more interest they collect. On a $30,000 car financed at 6% over 7 years, you will pay more than $6,000 in interest. That is 20% of the car's value, paid for the privilege of borrowing money to buy a depreciating asset. And because the car loses value faster than the loan balance drops, you are trapped in negative equity for years. You cannot refinance to a better rate because no lender will finance an underwater car. You cannot sell without taking a loss. The structure of the loan ensures you stay locked in. Gap insurance exists because the industry knows you will be underwater. They sell you a product to cover the gap between what you owe and what the car is worth if it gets totaled. This is them admitting the trap exists while charging you to protect yourself from it. Extended warranties exist because they know the car will need repairs right when the loan ends. They are selling you coverage for problems they engineered into the product. And trade-in offers exist because they want to catch you before you pay off the loan. The dealer knows that a customer who pays off their car and keeps driving it is a customer they lose. A customer who trades in every 3 to 4 years is a customer for life. The entire system is built to keep you in the cycle. This is not a conspiracy. This is a business model, and it works because it is wrapped in the language of affordability and choice. Here is what the silent phase looks like. The silent phase is the period where you stop questioning the payment because it has become part of your identity as a responsible adult. You make the payment on time, you maintain the car, you feel like you are managing your finances. But you are not building wealth. You are renting your own life from a lender. And the system is designed to keep you in that phase for as long as possible. Because the silent phase is where customers are most profitable. They are not defaulting. They are not complaining. They are just paying. Month after month, year after year. And when the loan finally ends, the maintenance costs hit, and the cycle starts over. The silent phase is not peace. It is the absence of resistance. If you want to break this cycle, you need 3 rules. Rule 1, never finance a car for longer than 4 years. If you cannot afford the payment on a 4-year loan, you cannot afford the car. The shorter the term, the faster you build equity and the less interest you pay. Rule 2, never trade in a car while you are underwater. If you owe more than the car is worth, you cannot afford to trade. Selling or trading while underwater locks in the loss and carries it forward into the next loan. Wait until you have equity, or better yet, wait until the car is paid off. Rule 3. Buy cars you can afford to keep for 10 years. Stop thinking about cars as a 3-year decision. The longer you keep a paid-off car, the more value you extract from it. A 10-year-old car with 150,000 miles is not a failure. It is a victory because you are not making a payment. And every month without a payment is a month you are building wealth instead of transferring it to a lender. These rules will not make you popular at the dealership. They will make you solvent. The system will continue to offer you longer terms, lower payments, and easier approvals because the system makes money when you stay in debt. It loses money when you pay off the loan and stop playing. The car loan industry in America generates more than $1 trillion in outstanding debt. That is $1 trillion in leverage the lenders have over borrowers, and the average loan term keeps getting longer because it's the only way to keep monthly payments affordable as car prices rise. But affordability is a trap. If the only way you can afford something is to stretch the payments over 7 years, you cannot actually afford it. You are borrowing from your future self to pay for a depreciating asset in the present. And your future self will be underwater, unable to trade, and facing repair bills on a car you still owe money on. The math does not get better with time. It gets worse. The car loan is not the only subscription model in your life. It is just the most expensive one. Every industry has learned the same lesson. If you can get someone to pay monthly, you can extract more money over time than if you charge them up front. Gym memberships, streaming services, phone contracts, software subscriptions, they all use the same playbook. Make the monthly cost small enough that canceling feels harder than continuing. Make the benefits feel ongoing even when they are not. And build in enough friction that stopping requires active effort. The car loan is just this model applied to the second largest purchase most people make. And because the car is necessary for work, for life, for survival in most of America, you cannot simply cancel the subscription. You are locked in. The loan structure ensures it. The depreciation curve guarantees it. And the dealer is waiting for you to trade in and restart the cycle. You are not failing at financial responsibility. You are succeeding at a game designed to keep you in debt. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as intended. The lenders profit, the dealers profit, the manufacturers profit. And you make payments for years, for decades, transferring wealth upward while your asset loses value. The car loan that looked cheap when you focused on the monthly payment is costing you equity, opportunity, and freedom. And the only way to win is to stop playing on their terms. Pay off the car. Keep it longer than feels normal. Buy less car than you think you need. And never ever finance for longer than 4 years. These are not strategies for getting rich. These are strategies for not staying poor. The next time you sit in a dealership and the salesperson asks what monthly payment you are comfortable with, you will know what is happening. You will see the trap being set, the term being stretched, the interest being stacked, the negative equity being baked in from day one, and you will walk out. Because the car loan is not a tool for buying transportation. It is a tool for extracting maximum value from someone who thinks they are making a smart decision. The illusion is that you are buying a car. The reality is that you are renting your own purchasing power from a system that profits from your confusion. If this opened your eyes to the cage you are living in, subscribe, because in the next video, we dismantle the rest of the illusion.